Hello, everyone, and welcome to Social Media Friday. I know today is Saturday for those of you who are joining, and everyone has joined today. But for those that are watching the recording, we do these every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, unless there's technical difficulties. Today we have another exciting guest, and she has joined us before and shared about Facebook. The last time that we talked about Facebook, we kind of went over some surface level stuff. We gave you guys some tips, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper because I think that Facebook and business is one of the strongest platforms out there for business. Instagram, LinkedIn, those are other great business ones. So we are definitely going to focus on a deeper dive into Facebook. So we have Allison today. So Allison, do you want to share a little bit about, I know that you said before that you wanted to share a little bit about where you were in Facebook before and maybe how you got to where you are.
Well, yes, amazing. Thank you so much for having me. And this is one of my most passionate topics. So I built my whole business basically on Facebook. So Facebook is really my home. So those of you who know me, most of you know me from Facebook. So before I even started using it for business, Facebook was a very sacred space for me. It was because in the vegan community, I mean, in real life, I didn't have a lot of support when I went plant-based. And even before, when I didn't resonate with people we don't always, from where we come from in our families, we don't always resonate with where people are at in our real life. And so Facebook is a place that you can really find like-minded people and build community. So, of course, when I went plant-based, that strengthened my relationships on Facebook because it became really important. And I developed lifelong friendships, as with Kevin right now. Here we are together. And that was built just from Facebook. So it's life-changing. And as we all know, connections are life-changing. We never know who we're going to meet and how it's going to change our life. And so to not handle Facebook as a sacred, we've got to really look at all the benefits, all the positives of Facebook, because there are just so many. So where I was before with using Facebook was really just connecting to, like I said, like making those soul connections, which turned out to be so valuable to where I am today. Because the connections we make even 5 years ago, we're tied to these people. When you're following someone, it's a great way to stay in touch without needing to actively be in touch. And you never know, some of the connections that we've made, I don't believe there's any connections that are accidental. I think we're all connecting with the people we're meant to connect with. And some of them, we don't even know the answers of why we're meant to connect with that person, but we keep them there, and we keep, and what I've noticed is I used to come out there and I was part of we were angry. A lot of the people I was with are angry. A lot of the especially when you start to wake up and you see atrocities around the world. And a lot of what I was putting out there was me being upset and angry and frustrated. But what I've learned from where I am, like my journey, where I'm at now, and what's really helped me to get to where I am now is being really mindful of the energy I'm putting out there. Because when I was putting out a lot of angry messages, and even though they were within reason, they were right to be, there's a lot of things we could be angry about. When I started shifting it to actually start to be part of the solution, and now use my platform as sharing solutions, sharing light, sharing positivity, I started to attract to a lot more like-minded people on that level that are looking for solutions and that want to lock arms with others who are solution finders. So that's pretty much just in a nutshell, kind of, I guess, but we're going to go in deeper. But yeah, that's where I'm at now with it, is that I am definitely, Facebook is still my number one social media platform, even though it's probably, there's so many others that are rising. Still, there's a soft spot in my heart for Facebook, because Facebook is really the people, the friendship page.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. And I remember exactly what you're talking about. We met on Facebook, seemingly 3 years ago or so. And without Facebook, like I would have never met you. I probably would have never met you, and I wouldn't have been here, and we wouldn't be even doing this, you know. So it's definitely something important, because I was on the other side of the world. I was in Kuwait, you know, back then. So I don't think that, yeah, that definitely wouldn't have happened. So it's definitely a blessing to have this opportunity. And you're so right. In the very beginning of having Facebook was just like maybe some friends and maybe some family and small stuff. When I went plant-based and vegan, like I started sharing a little bit about that and got so much negativity and so much hate that I was like, no, thank you, and deleted it like completely for like 6 months, you know, because I was like, I don't need that, you know. But then I got to a point where I said, I want to make a difference. I want to make an impact. I want to start, you know, sharing. And everything kept saying social media, social media. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to get back on and do it. And now here we are. So yeah. So my first question that I have for you is, what should people strive to make all their social media platforms cohesive, by using like the same post, the same bio, and etc. for everything? So for example, if you have like 5 different social medias like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, should you just post the same video on all of them and the same post and the same caption and everything? Or should it be like more unique and, you know, blending them together? How do you do that?
That's a great question, and that was brought up by, I know, Jessica Yamini, and that is a question that I think a lot of us, as we're building our identities out there and our images, like are we supposed to unify? Are we supposed to be the same, mirror everything? And my answer for that is actually it's gonna upset some people who I know, like, you know, it's easier to make it all the same, but my answer is actually no, because it's all energy, and different social media platforms have different energy. There's a different frequency. And so actually, I look at Facebook as a more homey page, whereas I look at Instagram as a little bit more business page. And the connections I make are a little bit different. The way I interact is different. And so Facebook is like, I want everyone to feel they can almost like Facebook is like, for me, it's 11:11 here. Woo. It's like home. It's like, it's a comforting, it's a very, you can really be yourself. I mean, all social media, it's so important that we're authentic. It's so important that we're authentic. And if we're always just mirroring, sometimes what happens, and I've noticed this because I do mirror my, you know, definitely mirror certain things, like mirror your stories on, there's a few things I'll tell you. Mirror your stories from Instagram onto Facebook. Mirror your posts from Instagram onto Facebook, but don't rely on that solely, because you want to have that reflection for sure, but also give finesse in a different way to each one. So, so some people, like, you know, they think that if they just mirror it, they're going to get the same engagement on both. But if you're just actually, you know, where you actually put that post from, like, let's say, for instance, you have a post on TikTok, you're going to get a lot more views from TikTok than if you were to repost it onto Facebook, because they don't really want us to be like, or YouTube is a great example because it's actually owned by, it's like a very different, you know, they don't want us moving from off of our Facebook platform onto YouTube. So they're not going to, the algorithm isn't going to favor it. So you can't just mirror it. You know, you want to put content directly onto the platforms that you're using, and also know what kind of content is most valued on those different platforms. So for instance, so I do mirror it, but I add so many different things to each one, right? So hey Jared, I'm gonna add more onto Facebook than I do onto Instagram, because Instagram is a grid, and Instagram, you want to keep it kind of neat. You want to keep it a little bit cohesive, whereas Facebook, no one is seeing it in a grid. People are just seeing it come into their newsfeed. So you can post a lot more onto Facebook, and feel free to do so. I don't think you can ever overpost on Facebook. I'm just going to go out there and say that you can't overpost on Facebook. And Facebook also, you want to make sure that you're getting into groups, and that you have multiple different groups that you're getting into, because groups are just so important for, like, you know, different content that you're going to be sharing. You may want to share different groups in your vegan, like how Kevin was saying, he's getting a lot of hate from his vegan posts. Well, then he went into like more vegan oriented pages where he can really share all of the stuff that, may not be as accepted or whatever on your main page. But yeah, so you want to definitely have, in terms of your bio, I like to also adjust little differences. So you'll notice that my bio on Facebook and on Instagram is different, and just vary so slightly. I'll just show you a difference. And I'm very intuitive with it. So there's no science behind what I'm saying. So this is something that you can explore yourself. But in Instagram, I say, I help people go vegan optimally, green heart, empower heart-centered, earth-first leaders to rise. I changed my life through healing my gut, and so can you. And then I have my link tree right under there. And people know when they're coming to my page that I am focused on going vegan optimally, and I'm focused on gut health. Okay, and then on Facebook, what do I say? I say I'm optimal plant-based life transformation coach, kind human empowerment, health and wealth. Okay, because kind human is our page on Facebook. So I'm not going to write that in Instagram because it wouldn't make sense. But on Facebook, you want to make sure that you're really speaking to each of the platforms energetically. Hey, Janine. Okay. So, and then what was the other part was there another part of that question?
No, you answered that question great. Yeah, that was it. Ready to move on to the next question?
Yeah, is there any questions? By the way, if anyone has any questions to like go deeper into it, like we can definitely, okay.
And feel free to put in the chat. I've been writing some stuff in the chat, so feel free. So the next one is outside of health and wellness groups, and I like that you talk about groups, and something that I commented before is Facebook favors groups. Groups is a great idea, and they favor it and they're promoting it. So if you notice a platform promoting something, they're probably gonna want to boost it. Like when Instagram was promoting their Reels, and Reels was a new thing. Well, if you were jumping onto there, you probably had some success because they were pushing it a little bit harder back then. So outside of health and wellness groups, have you seen any success with connecting with people in like different lifestyle groups, like yoga, mindfulness, spirituality, veganism? Have you seen some success there?
Yes, so much success, but I want to be really clear to say that actually it's not through promoting within groups. It's through making connections with like-minded people, because actually groups are a great place. And I don't want to say this like this is like wrong terminology, but it's a great place to go fishing for friends because you're in a group with all people who are targeted to what like that group is, right? So I know Chris and I are part of an eczema group, for instance. So we know that everyone in this group is struggling with eczema. So I know they're gonna ban me if I make a post saying I have a solution for eczema, because actually probably the creator of this group, chances are they're probably promoting something themselves. Most people who create a group, they don't want someone else to be promoting something else within there because they created that group for a reason. And they don't want other people to be advertising for what they're doing. So be really careful in groups that we're not being very direct with what we're promoting, but that we are using the group to make really meaningful connections with people who we already know are in our market. So definitely yoga, lifestyle, everything that we're about, like anything that like speaks to our heart, join a group of that and you're going to find such like-minded people, and from within there build friendships so that you can then add each other and take that conversation into DMs or actually on phones as fast as possible if you can get on a chat with them. Because say, we are in this group for a reason. We're in this group because we both have the same common interest, and connect with them on that common interest and then get to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah, that's great. Would you like to maybe walk us through like how you search for groups and like maybe how easy it is to find groups and like all the different ones. Like maybe you could just type some of those examples, like type in yoga, type in mindfulness, and just see how many come up so people can see.
Yes. Okay, let's screen share. If I, advanced sharing options. Jared, can you just unmute yourself and just tell me what to do?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Are you the host?
I am.
And then you click the green button, share screen,
Yes.
and then click desktop, like the first one.
It's not letting me. It's just saying one participant can share at a time. Multiple participants can share simultaneously, and advanced sharing options.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave, and maybe it's because I'm in here.
Okay. All right. Bye, Jared. See you soon. All right. Thank you. Okay. So now I'm going to be able to do that. I think I'm going to be able to share my screen now. I hope. Okay. There we go. Desktop. Okay. So let me know if you guys can see my screen. Okay. So, okay, here's how we find groups. First of all, Facebook is going to be telling you which groups you probably want to join, because I don't know if you guys see ever recommended groups. It comes up for me. I'm not sure exactly how to find which ones are recommended, but it does come up for me a lot. So if I search raw, because I've been wanting to go raw vegan, right? So that's something that is within our lifestyle, right? It's going to attract like-minded people. So I'm just going to look up raw vegan. And actually a whole bunch of groups are going to come up when you just type in the search. So see, you can go to see all, look at all these raw vegan groups that exist. And from there, I may see, okay, which ones have the most members, because you want to get into the most active ones and with the most members. So I may go into, maybe I'll even go into low. I don't need to really I don't want to lose weight, but maybe I would go into one of these groups because people in these groups want to lose weight, right? They're in these groups because they want to go into low fat, raw vegan groups, raw vegan community. I mean, there's so many amazing groups. Or you can also, you can always type in what you're looking for. So yoga community, you're going to find so many groups, and then you just find the ones that resonate most with you. And when you are a member of a group, it's good that you're engaging. So, even introduce yourself. That's a really great practice, actually. A lot of people don't take the initiative to introduce themselves into a group. But believe me, as a group leader, as someone who has groups, it's a great thing when someone introduces themselves. It's like, oh, that person is taking the initiative. So you're going to get, introduce yourself, make yourself known. There may be 37K members, but if you introduce, you're going to stand apart. So you're going to say, hey, I've been raw vegan, on this journey for a few weeks now. I'm here to support anyone. I'm here to also learn from you. And I would love to connect with more people here in this community. And then, by the way, you're going to get so many people who are excited to connect with you too. So you're going to get a lot of love on that. So that's one thing. You also could create your own group. So if you have an idea of something that you want to create, you don't feel is out there, create your own group. Facebook is really amazing. If there's a niche market that you have that you want to connect with more like-minded people, make your own group and invite a few people that you think would be interested to get it going. I want to say on that, just one more thing is don't post your Purium links directly into any groups. You may get banned. So even if it is the solution of what someone's looking for, always say, I'll DM you, or let's connect outside of this group.
Yeah, those are amazing points. And that's super, super helpful. Since we have this screen share on, we might as well leave it on because I'll lead it right into my next question. How do you use the stories feature to communicate your message? What is your secret sauce?
I love stories so much. I used to not use Facebook stories. I used to only use Instagram stories. But ever since, what I did was I started to mirror my Instagram stories to Facebook. So that is one thing I do recommend everyone mirrors, because for whatever reason, I think we're more used to doing stories on Instagram. So it's just more second nature, and just give yourself a break and have it mirrored, right? But I'll tell you what's different is your audience is different on both. So how people engage with the same content is very different. And I find that Facebook, people are much more engaging. There's like, you know, when I post a story on Instagram, I don't get much engagement unless I post a poll or I'm asking a question. But when I post on Facebook, I love it because I got Dan Tomalti giving me so much love on my Instagram stories. I got so, you know, you get people who are just like, they're just slamming that love button, and they're just like, they are just giving you love on there, right? Like when you post stories on Facebook, you're getting a lot more easily engagement, and it's an easy way to have people reach you, because when there's something in stories, I'll just show you my example of my stories today. So I have my workout, which is awesome. That's inspiring, you know, giving people, I love this one. This is all with TikTok. So I just post, I speed, let me, here. It's very loud, 1 second. Okay, so I just, I make my videos. I'll just tell you a little how I do this, because people have been asking how I do my, let me just pause that there for a second, because I'll go back to sharing my story. Okay, so this is my, take notes if you guys can, okay? So do your 10-minute workout, film it, like just have it, set your phone up somewhere where you can see your whole body. Don't even worry about the recording of it. Like, it'll record, but just do your thing. Don't worry how you look, believe me, just do it. Like, record your video, record a 10-minute workout. Then I want you guys to get the app called Splice. Okay, write that down, Splice. Get this app today. It's a free app, and this is how I speed up my videos, because TikTok only speeds up videos so much. It can only speed up a video like ×4. So for a 10-minute video, you're gonna need Splice. And then I speed it up in Splice. It's very easy. Like, if you guys need it, like, I'll walk you through how to speed up a video in Splice, but it's really easy. And then if I can do it, it's easy. So then you speed it up to 30 seconds. I try to make them at least, like, most 30 seconds. And then I upload it into TikTok. And that's where I add my music. And the music, watch how cool that looks. Like, it looks like I'm a professional, right? It's like going with like, you find a song, it recommends a song that goes with your video. It's amazing. Listen to whatever it's recommending you and try different ones. Whichever one doesn't make you, like, whichever one feels the best to you, it's gonna recommend like 10. Just go with the one that feels best. Don't think too much about it. And then you can then post it onto Instagram. Then it's gonna mirror onto Facebook. And believe me, it's very impressive. A lot of people are messaging me since I'm doing this, and they're saying, how do you do these videos? Or I wanna get in on this, like, you know, it looks fun. They're like, I wanna join whatever you're doing. And another thing I like to do in my stories, so this is now next topic, is using, so in Instagram, you have a feature, all those different options where you can either, you know how it looks on Instagram. I think it looks like, I rarely upload stories from Facebook. I usually upload my stories in Instagram. So in Instagram, you know, when you're about to upload a story, there's so many different little options. So it'll say, like, so you go to, like, you're gonna upload a story.
You can, real quick, Allison, you can view your Instagram story on the browser as well with the screen share if you want.
Oh, cool. Okay. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to find Instagram. I don't think I'll be able to do that.
Oh, okay. If you're not logged in already, then that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's gonna take too much time. But
if
I'll
you want to
say,
end the screen share so we can see, because it's really small.
Oh, right.
The
Okay.
screen's
Okay.
extra small.
All right. Let's stop that share for a second. I'm going to get back to that. Okay. So when you're about to upload a story, do you guys all see my screen? You see that button? You go to that. Oh, wait, sorry. And it's going to give you all these little things. So use these things. Like, you know, either one of these guys or a question or a poll, you know, use those things. And captions are so important, and it's so easy. You don't have to, like, so many people are like, how do you add the words to your, you go to captions. It's just gonna get that, because a lot of people are scrolling without the sound on. So you really, especially if you have an important message, make sure that you have captions, especially for the hearing impaired. You know, you want to make sure that this is inclusive. So, so that's what I do. And then I mirror it. So I make a story where I'll ask a question or have a poll. Let me go back to my screen share because I want to show you guys this. Okay, so this is like, guess what this black juice is, which, by the way, Janine Luna, you are the only one who got this right. Janine, woo! So people were writing to me, all like, they were answering this question, like, you know, all kinds of answers. It's awesome. Another thing is, you can do what I like with stories is, oops, hang on about that. I don't know how to get out of that. Anyway, let me go back. Okay. Hey, there's Chris. Okay, so with stories, you can, it's a great place to also, you know, when you're getting new brand partners, you know, use like, or even prospects, shout out other people's pages. You know, that really does, then they're going to do that to you too. So we want to be promoting our new brand partners. We want to be promoting, let me go out of share screen for a second because I feel like I can't.
Can I add something really quick on the captions?
Yes.
So we had a question about where can we put the captions? So you might need to update your Instagram because it's a fairly new feature. So you might not have it available. And also it's location sensitive. So for example, when I was in Belize for a certain amount of time, like I didn't have access to that because it wasn't available in that country. So that could be an issue as far as the captions, but to answer the question specifically, where can we put the captions? Does that mean like on the story? If you mean like on the story, you can move the caption up and down anywhere you want, and you can change the size of it. And then like where it's located, it's next to the polls. So if you know how to get to polls, it's in that same section where the polls are.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. True, you can also make it smaller because like when you just do captions, it comes out very big and it may be like right over your face. So you just move it to the side a little bit. So it's really awesome because they go right into your messenger. When people ask you questions on stories, it goes right into people's messenger. So I want to also encourage that on Facebook, we're engaging with people's stories because they're going to get those engagements right into their messenger. And it's like a very non-invasive way to reach out to people. Because some people feel like, I'm not going to just like DM someone out of nowhere. If they have stories, they're asking for you to DM them. They want you in their inbox. So, so definitely engage. The more we engage and the more we share others, usually that does come back around. And also it does build relationships. And with stories, it's so easy, I find, to just, you know, send someone, let's say they're like, Jess here is doing something awesome in the kitchen like usual. I can just do a little stories back I posted that I've been having these cravings for coffee. You can easily just comment and then she's going to see that right away because it comes up right in her messenger. So really, I want to say that Facebook is such an amazing place for truly building real friendships. So the more authentic we are on Facebook, the more we like, I want us to all feel like we can just like really let our weird flag fly on Facebook, you know, like really, really be yourself on this book. Don't worry about what your grid look like. Instagram is a little more aesthetic, but Facebook, you can be more sloppy. You don't have to put your perfect pictures. You can put pictures that you just want to get out there, that you think will help someone else, you know, and always come at Facebook. And I say this with all social media, but always come at Facebook with offering some value, something that someone can share, because it's so easy to share. And then when people are sharing, let's say you make a little message, like, you know, always use, like, let's say you're going to do something like, give your body the optimal environment it needs to heal. This is a great one. Give your body optimal environment. So my spelling is always off. Environ, you know what I mean. And then my autocorrect doesn't work, so that's why I always have typos. Environment.
Real quick, mine, I'm not being able to see it right now. Is anyone else able to see? Maybe the screen froze. Maybe it's just on my end.
Oh, my screen sharing is paused. Oops.
Yeah.
Resume, share. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? I'm just making a post. Give your body the optimal environment to heal itself. Oh. Do you guys see it?
Yeah, can see it now.
Okay, to heal, okay? So then you wanna always use these things instead of just posting it, because let's say I make it like this, right? Someone is gonna like, then it becomes like a shareable little like thing, right? Like if you have like a powerful thing to say, make sure it has like a nice background, and people, you'll see other people are gonna share it if it's something of value. So that is what I use. I don't know. Yeah, anything else, Kevin?
Yeah, I think I don't want to keep it too long, but I do want to add one last thing, and maybe we can, you could exit the screen share if you want. I do want to add one more thing, and I think that this is something that a lot of people deal with. And I think that maybe we can make it a whole separate thing itself, but maybe if we could touch on it a little bit, because it might be something that is holding people back right now. And so what are some things right now that you notice? Maybe you're talking to a lot of people, you're sharing a lot of stuff. What are some things that you notice that hold people back from posting what they really want to post, or hold people back from sharing their authentic self, or hold people back from doing what they actually want to do and doing what their heart says and they know is right? I know for me personally, things that have held me back in the past, before you answer that, just for me personally, I mean, I've been held back in the past by fear of, of judgment of others. Like, what is someone else going to think about this? How is someone going to feel, about this? Who is this going to offend? You know what I mean? And so that can be, something that holds me back from actually sharing maybe what I want to share.
Okay.
Right. So what are some things for you that maybe things for yourself personally, but maybe things that you've heard as well?
Yeah. Okay. This is such a great question. This is everything. So one thing I want to just make sure everyone knows is you're never going to please everyone. You're never going to be everyone's cup of tea. And the sooner that you accept that and embrace that, the better. And so we can't please everyone. One thing that actually, I'll tell you two things that helped liberate me. One was actually seeing other people be liberated. So it's so important that we're liberated so that we can also show other people they can be too, because that's what helped get me out of my shell. I'm like, I saw this girl posting whatever the fuck she wanted, and I was like, hey, like I could do that. Like, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try that. Even though I was like super nervous. But what happened was my mother unfriended me from it. And I'll tell you that was probably the biggest blessing that ever, because sometimes there's that one person who's following you, who's like judging you, and you're like holding back because you don't want them seeing what you're posting. We all have that one family member or someone in our life that's like, we're afraid of their judgment. And one thing we can do, aside from having your mother, like pushing your mother to unfriend you, is to have, you can make your posts invisible to some people. So sometimes there's that, like those one or two people that you would feel so liberated if your father wasn't there, or someone wasn't there seeing it. So just like make some of the posts restricted. You can do that. We're allowed to, make our safe space, right? We want to create a safe space for ourselves here. So use that. And also it's okay if people unfriend you, because actually it liberates you. Anyone who is unfriending you is just not meant to be part of your like rising journey. And that's okay. So we have to let some people go. And actually the process of being ourselves is going to weed out people naturally. And it's going to engage, it's going to actually attract a lot more people, which is awesome. But the first thing you're going to notice is it's going to weed a lot of people out. A lot of people are going to come out of the woodworks who were like, you didn't even know they were following you, but they're going to definitely have problem with what you're saying. And they're going to be making it public, and they're going to be embarrassing you, and they're going to be shaming you. Just don't worry about unfriending those people. If they're like against what you're doing and you're out there sharing your truth, unfriend. That's okay. You can still be friends in real life. They could be your neighbor, in my case, that is my neighbor too. And so just allow for people to come and go, and for you to really strengthen that muscle of like speaking your truth. Exercise that muscle every single day.
Yeah, and it's definitely okay. Like some people are really scared, like if they have to unfriend or block someone, they're like, oh, it's gonna hurt their feelings or whatever. If they're draining your energy and they're damaging, your lifestyle, and they're being toxic and they're holding you back from your own business, which maybe is holding you back from taking care of your family, like they need to go. Like they need to go. Like, and sorry, like I've no problem blocking people anymore. Like it was maybe hard in the beginning because it's like, oh, this is a weird thing. I'm blocking someone. Like, what does that even mean? Like, I don't even know what that means, but at the same time, like I had to. And in the beginning, when I was like a new vegan and I was sharing that kind of stuff, like I blocked way more vegans than I did non-vegans, surprisingly, because they were the more toxic ones at the time. They're the ones that were like damaging my mind and damaging my energy. And I was like, you gotta go. Like, you gotta go. You're vegan, but you gotta go. And that, if you look at my block list, like most of them were vegan, actually, surprisingly. That might be a surprise for some. I do see, yeah, Tom, or Dan, sorry, Dan has his hand up. Is that an accident, or do you have a question, Dan?
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, all great information about the social medias. Just been dealing with a lot of hatred and positive and negative feedback this morning. So it's a great discussion. I'm all for it. I'm up here up north. I'm just getting some rays and enjoying the sun, just discovering some new spots. Yeah, I just wanted to jump on here and say hello. Yeah, just one correction. It's actually Tommelty is my last name.
Oh, sorry.
Tommelty. Oh. They actually got it. Purium Corporate got it right the first time.
Dyslexia when I do things I don't always like. I does it anyway.
It's all good. I've heard them all. I'm just traveling around here, guys. I just wanted to jump on here and just say you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Well,
all good info.
About what you just said, Dan, that you're getting a lot of hatred. Sometimes actually that's a sign that you're doing something right. Right, Kevin? When you're
well, there's like 4 stages of truth or something like that, right? Where it's like first like they
first they laugh.
Yeah, first like they laugh at you, right? And then they mock you, like they might make fun of you. Then they might have like violent, or angry opposition, and then they join you or they accept it, as that truth. As long as it's a truth, if it's like a straight lie, then like that's a totally different thing. But if you're telling your truth and it is true, then that's usually the stages of truth, and we just gotta ride those waves, unfortunately.
Yes, I want to say that I got I got more hatred than I think one could ever get in a lifetime when I started this journey, and it's definitely, I'm grateful for all of it because it strengthened me. So don't cower away when we're getting hatred. This is actually a resistance training. We're getting stronger, so we need
Yeah, and now I even post about it. Like if you look at my story, I think it's probably still there on my Instagram and Facebook story. I took a screenshot of 2 hate comments essentially, on like whatever, some vegan post, right? And it just kind of made me think like it was kind of like, oh, I hadn't gotten one in a while, like it'd been some time. And so it was just kind of like a reminder, like they're still out there, or whatever. But it was funny because it happened because I didn't have access to Reels for a while on Instagram, like the Reels feature. And so like I started posting on that, and it was funny because I said on the post, I said the pros of posting on Reels, and this is a good tip. I mean, in general, the pros of posting on Reels is that it's gonna push your content into different people that aren't in your niche, right? But then I also said the cons of Reels is that it pushes your content into other niches, that aren't your niche. So it was like a double-edged sword. It's like a good thing that it's going into other niche, but also if it's like, you're, I mean, because veganism or even being healthy, can trigger so many people because they're like, oh, now you're against all the unhealthy people, or whatever. And so it's just challenging, but at the same time, it's funny that it just happened recently. And then my point is that you can share that and make a point of it. And when I share something really, really positive, I usually black it out, honestly, the person's name, like if it's a screenshot, like I'll black it out. If it's a hate comment, like I leave it up there. Like if you want to go, I mean, I leave their name up there. Like if you want to you want to be toxic on the internet and take time out of your day to harm someone else, like I'm not
Yeah.
going to protect you,
They'll
from
think
like
twice
what people
about
might
messing
say.
with you. Yeah. They'll
I
think
guess
twice.
so, maybe. But it's not about that. It's not like putting on blast or whatever or anything like that. But I think it's another thing to remember is that people that do take their time out of their day, especially if you're a positive, happy, upbeat, kind person, if someone's going to take their time out of the day to try and tear you down, imagine the place that they're in. Imagine the hurt that they're going through. Imagine the struggles that they're going through in their life. Or what are they going, like have some empathy for them. And so think about, are they going, like they're probably like maybe they got in a huge breakup, maybe they have horrible health, maybe they're living in a toxic environment themselves, maybe they're, someone in their family died. There's so many things that's going on and they just project and project. So most of the time that hate isn't even real. It's just like a projection of something that's going on
Like we
in
say,
their life.
hurt people, heal people. So yes, you can definitely be sure that if someone is hurting you, they're hurting themselves. And yes, it's important to, we have our community to keep us strong. So reach up when you're feeling attacked, make sure that you have support around you because it really can throw off your whole day, especially if it's someone you know and you thought loves you, or something like that. So it's just important that we all have each other for support and try to stay away from things like, as much as we're all like health warriors, there's certain things I try to stay away from. I try to stay away from vaccines just because as much as I have my own opinion and I feel very strongly about it. And, look, I'm not saying we want to be truth tellers and we want to, share the truth, but there's certain things that are going to just bring up all kinds of like sometimes you just don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So try to avoid certain really confrontational things that they're not even confrontational, but now that it's politicized, it is. So I try to stay away from politics and stuff like that because we just don't want to also turn off potential brand partners as well, because we're always, everything that we're putting out there, we're also trying to attract everyone. We're trying to be inclusive. We want to attract everyone. So, even, I want to make sure that everyone knows, like, we welcome like all different opinions. And I actually welcome even some haters because haters actually give good engagement and they boost your posts. So sometimes it's good to have some a little controversy, but certain things that you don't want to you just don't want to sometimes go to certain places, like, unless you like, it's just going to open up a lot of confrontation, certain things. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is an amazing call. I think that we gained a lot of information. Is there anything else that maybe you want to add before we go? Or is there any other questions that we have from the people that are watching?
I have one more question. It would be, so like the products, so let's just say Super Meal LOV. I've been posting the product on my Facebook wall and I'm like, hey, check out the Love Super Meal, right? But then my gift card code like, hey, here's my $50 gift card code below. So then people can click on that. Is that an okay post, or
Great
should
point.
I be going to a further extent, or are these, I know you can see them, Allison. So are they okay posts, or should I be doing better, or?
Well, we're always going to be, okay, so all of us are very unique. You can't say one post works well for everyone, because the thing is, all of us have a different audience. We all have a little bit of a different personality, and we have to be authentic with our own, what we're sharing. But yeah, that post that you just said, it sounds perfect. I would say even, you don't even have to post pure, like I do, and a lot of us do. I share Purium all the time. So I'm like, Purium, but we don't even have to. If you just share even a screenshot of those ingredients, for instance, and you may want to show the shake, and then maybe copy and paste the ingredients, and say for a link below. I love that you said link below, because when you're writing it in comments, first of all, it's going to boost that post. And then people can also, it's just that's a very good, the way that you just said that post sounds perfect. And I would be consistent, make sure that, you're not going to get engagement on something right away, because people have to see things multiple times for it to click. So do different ways of sharing that same post. You may want to show yourself drinking, like a little video of you drinking. It'd be like, I feel so nourished, I don't know, something where, and then have again a link to your post. You want to repeat, and you can't repeat enough on Facebook. Facebook is just let it be your, just vent everything. All of your stuff can go up on Facebook. And I want to make sure everyone feels really uninhibited, that you can't post too much on Facebook. I used to hold myself back, because I was like, I'm in their newsfeed too much. But the algorithm won't just have you it'll disperse you randomly, and you want to make sure you're exposed, people are seeing you. So make sure that you have repeated posts like that. You can have a few a day, every day have something. That's what I want to make sure everyone here, that's my closing words, is I would say post every day. Even if you're not in the mood, you can take something that one of us has shown and say, look at my friend's thing, and I have a code to this if you're interested. Yeah, so that great question.
Can I add something onto that? Like maybe a question for you as well, based on what Dan is saying. So do you think that there is a challenge? And I know that I deal with people, on my team as well, and having that challenge of coming across as maybe too salesy at times. If it's always like product, and buy this now. What are your thoughts on how do you be more ambiguous and more curiosity posts, and how do you blend those two together? Because it isn't like only all curiosity all the time and only all product all the time. Like, how do you blend those?
Yeah, so important, because definitely we're leading with our story. We're not leading with products. I mean, we're leading with ingredients, but and that's great. Like, I would talk a lot about health and ingredients, and being, eating organic and gut health, all these topics around the products talk about, but we don't want to show product, that doesn't always translate to that people will see as salesy. So I like to talk about my personal experience. Like, I may show myself taking my my aminos and be like, these white pill, people, we want to be attracting people. We want to be intriguing people. So if it doesn't have the name of it, and you're just showing yourself, these are my muscle pills, and you're showing that you're going to eat them every day, that is going to have people curious. What are you doing? But if they see the name aminos, they can just go and Google it, by the way, and then maybe even buy it from someone else's code, which would be we don't want that. So make posts that are really about you, about your lifestyle, about what is important to you about this, and less about just product placement. And also sharing, that's why widen our reach is so important. Sharing videos where it's us talking is really, really important. And also sharing other people's transformation stories, because, other people are going to be relating with different stories. So sharing stories are really what we want to be communicating. And also value. So whatever could be of value to someone, it could be the health benefits of tart cherry juice without mentioning apothecary anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely answers that question. So, is there any other? Well, I think there's one thing that made me think about what you were just talking about right now. If I can add something else, is that okay on time?
You
So
have 5 minutes. Yeah.
you said something about widening your reach in lives or something, and I had an idea yesterday that I was thinking about, like maybe something that could help some people. And this is I shared this with you, and I also shared this with one other person, like the idea. And I think that this could help people that are maybe comfortable with going live. Like maybe you've done a few lives and you're at a comfort zone, and maybe you're thinking about like, how can I do more lives? So I just said that you could reach out to people of interest that resonate you within the company, right? So for example, if you're like, oh my gosh, that person also has eczema, and I have eczema, like I want to talk about that and I want to learn like how do they do it or how do they heal, or what that person had Lyme disease, and I also had Lyme and suffered with that. Like I want to talk with them, like I want to connect, you know what I mean? And then share with them, like reach out to them, like, hey, I saw that you also had Lyme, or I saw that you also had eczema, and it really resonated with me. It was like really like it hit me deep because I went through the same thing, right? And then like you could set up a time, right, for them, and then you could do a live interview with that person. So my point is that you finding someone that resonates you that also went through the same thing with you, it makes it really easy for you to share, really natural, and it's going to come across so genuine and so authentic because it's real. It really, like, you really went through that and they really went through that, and you really are connecting, over something that's really truly genuine and authentic versus just like, oh my gosh, I want to do an interview. I want to interview Eric. I like Eric. Eric is cool. Hey Eric, let's do an interview. And then it's like, okay. And it's like, okay, maybe it's a fine interview, but like that could be really powerful and resonate. And then those good people that have that, two strong people that are talking about something that they went through together, and how they were able to overcome it, can be really impactful. And that was just something I thought of yesterday.
Well, energy is so important. Like the energy you have with the person that you're about to do a live with is really everything. So you want to make sure that you are connecting, that the people that you are inviting on to share on your wall are people that you are your soul fam, or like Kevin said, really have the same experience, because excitement is very contagious and people feel authenticity very easily. Like people have a really strong bullshit, radar if something is forced or so even if they're not in your team. I like that, Kevin, that you said that, because it's more important that we have authentic connection with people that we really feel like we can be ourselves with than it is to even what the message is. It's almost more important that our presence is comfortable and excited, and that is what people are going to be drawn to.
Yeah, I heard someone on the call that went through something. Their story sounded almost exactly like mine, and I reached out to them to go to do a live with them, and it just resonated with me. I was like, I want to talk with that person.
Yeah, definitely connect with people within our Purium community at large. I would highly recommend that as a brand partner, that we are connecting with the full Purium community, that people that we hear on Zoom, mega Zooms. I had so many people after I did that Leslie Zan call reached out to me, all these other leaders from so many other teams, that they want to do, interviews with me and stuff. And that's great. So, I welcome that. And I think that we can all benefit a lot from the Purium community at large, even just people, and just getting connected with people who really, really resonate with, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's all I have for today. So yeah, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, be yourself, get your message out there, and have fun. That's the most important thing, that we're not like, social media is a place to have fun, not a place of stress. Don't compare yourself. If there's anyone that's making you feel jealous, by the way, sometimes think a little deeper, maybe they're inspiring you. So try to change your mindset and really open your heart, have a lot of fun, and really, make authentic connections here. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
See you guys. Have a great one.